Welcome to Live Daf, your online Daf Yomi Shir.
Shalom Aleichem, welcome back to today's Daf Hayomi, Nedarim Samach Kimo. We are holding on Samach Beis Amid Beis at the fourth line from the bottom of the Amid. A fellow says, I'm going to be off of wine. I'm making a neder against wine until Geshamim. So he says, Ad ha-Geshamim. Or he says, Ad sheyehu Geshamim. Now typically, there's a difference between saying just plain Ad, like Ad ha-Pesach, which means until the arrival of the Yom Tov Pesach, as opposed to Ad sheyehu Pesach, which will include the actual Pesach Yom Tov, until Pesach is through, until it's over. That's because Pesach is an example of an event it's a set event, it's a predictable event. But if it's an unpredictable development, such as rain, there, whether you say Ad ha-Geshamim or Ad sheyehu Geshamim, it doesn't matter. You're not going to commit yourself to an open-ended obligation, and therefore in this case, it is only active up until, and not including that event. Okay? So knowing that, we have Shitas Tanakama, who says, Ad ha-Geshamim means until it starts raining. Right? Until the winter rains arrive. Rabbi Shimon Gamliel says, you don't need to wait till the actual rain arrives. Suppose there's a delay. There's a drought. It means the Zman of a Geshamim, the season, when rain typically arrives. And by the way, when we speak about rain, it's Revi'ah Shniya, the second cluster of rains, as we're going to see soon in the Gemara. So the primary rain season will split into three portions. The rain season is regarded as Revi'ah. It encourages growth. It enables the tzmicha of the ground. So within that rain season, we have three parts, three portions. Revi'ah Rishona, the early rains. Revi'ah Shniya, those are the main, middle rains. And then we have Revi'ah Shlishis, the lingering rains. We're going to see in a minute when each one falls out. But bottom line is, Tanakama holds, Ad ha-Geshamim means Ad sheyehu Geshamim. Sorry, Ad ha-Geshamim or Ad sheyehu Geshamim, either way, it means Ad shetered Revi'ah Shniya, until the actual rain arrives, that middle rain. Rabbi Shimon Gamliel Omer, he says, no, Ad sheyagia zmana shel Revi'ah. You don't actually have to have rain. When the Zman of rain arrives, that is the culmination, that is the termination, the conclusion of the neder. When does Tanakama maintain you need to actually be faced by that rain? The Omar Ad ha-Geshamim. That's if he says Ad ha-Geshamim. That's an enhanced expression and includes the actual rain arriving. Aval Omar Ad ha-Geshem. But suppose he says simply, until the rain, Ad ha-Geshem. Even Tanakama agrees that in this case we say Ad Zman Geshamim, until the rain season arrives, the time where it typically rains. But it doesn't actually have to start raining. Ad Zman Geshamim Kamar. Meisvei, here comes a kasha. We're going to try to prove otherwise. That even by saying Ad ha-Geshem, Tanakama would insist the rain has to actually come about. Meisvei, Ezo hizmana shel Revi'ah. This is a Mishnah in Tanis. What are the various zmanim with respect to rain? Ha-Bechira, the early rains, are meant to come begimel, on the third day of Cheshvan. Ha-Beinonis, the mid-rain, B'Shiva, on day 7 of Cheshvan. Afela, the lingering rain, the last installment, comes B'Esrim Rishloisha, day 23 of Cheshvan, Divrei Reb Meir. So it's 3, 7, and 23. Rabbi Yehuda B'Shiva, U'B'Shiva Asur, U'B'Esrim Rishloisha. He pushes it off a bit. First rains come on day 7, of Cheshvan, then 17, and then 23. Rabbi Yehuda B'Shiva Asar B'Eser B'Shleisha. The first and second come day 17, day 23 of Cheshvan. Ube Rosh Chodesh Kislev, the third rains arrive on Rosh Chodesh Kislev. That's the the standard zman when these rains are supposed to come, when the years run properly in Eretz Yisrael. So the ikar rains of the season are these three revios with their respective zmanim based on these respective shitos. V'chein haya Rabbi Yossi Omer, and likewise Rabbi Yossi would say, ein hayechidim. Yechidim are those individuals, those outstanding individuals, who take responsibility for the welfare of the Klal Yisrael. So they will not get up and start fasting. Eina Yechidim misanim, when there's a drought, ad sheyager Rosh Chodesh Kislev, until they experience Rosh Chodesh Kislev, which is the last chance for rain, and there's no rain on the horizon. They go and they fast. But until then, they just wait patiently for the rains to come. So Rosh Chodesh Kislev would trigger fasting. Okay, end of discussion. The question is, what's the point of knowing, the first Revi'ah, the second one, the third one, any halachic, ramification here? We had a discussion about this Mishnah. I understand the point of discussing the first installment, Lishoyel. That's when you start asking for rain. V'sein talamotar, in the davening. Likewise, I fully appreciate the third installment, Shlishis, that's less anis, which would indicate when it's time to start fasting, if there is no rain at that point. What's the point of discussing Revi'ah Sheniya? Does it have any halachic, ramification? Yes, V'amar b'zeira l'noider. It corresponds to the neder, the halacha that we learned before. A person says, I'm not going to, have my wine until Geshem, which is typically the lashon a person uses, Ada Geshem. It lasts until when the Revi'ah Shniya, the main, mid-rain, is supposed to come. Okay, we had another amendment, another elaboration on this halacha. The following brisa, which presents a halacha, a concept, in the name of Rab Shimon Gamliel. Whose shita is he following? Whose view is it consistent with? What does he say? Rabbi Shimon Gamliel Omer, suppose you have a 7-day, continuous, unabated rain experience. You can sometimes have a 7-day uninterrupted rain, and it's going to incorporate 2 of those periods. You can count within it, you can include within it, Revi'ah Rishona, the first Revi'ah, Ushni, and the second one as well. So who amongst these 3 Tanaim, we have Rabbi Yehuda, Rabbi Yehuda, and Rabbi Yossi, who give us different dates for the Revi'ahs. According to who can you have a 7-day rain, which would include Revi'ah, Rishona, and Shniya? Well, it doesn't work according to Rabbi Meir, because according to him, the first Revi'ah is day 3 of Cheshvan, the second one is day 7, so it's less than 7 days. You don't need 7 days to include them. According to Rabbi Yehuda, the first one is 7 of Cheshvan, the second one is 17. It's more than 7 days. The only one left, the only option is Kiman to Rabbi Yossi. According to Rabbi Yossi, it works. Because Revi'ah Rishona is day 17, Revi'ah Shniya is day 23. It's perfect. Now the Ran explains that this statement that Rabban Shimon Gamliel makes is in terms of the Shitas Chachamim, meaning he himself personally will hold that when a person makes a neder up until the rain, you don't need to have actual rain. The Zman is enough. So this halacha doesn't really pertain to him. Rather, this concept that a 7-day rain can be counted as Revi'ah, Rishona, and Shniya pertaining to Nedarim, that's with regard to the Tanna Kama, who holds that Ad HaGeshem means until the rain arrives. Which rain? The main rain, the mid-rain, Revi'ah Shniya. Comes Rabbi Shimon Gamliel and tells us a chiddush. Even if it was an unabated, uninterrupted, continuous rain experience, starting from the first Revi'ah, going through 7 days. So even though there was no hefsek, it can be counted as Revi'ah Shniya as well. Well, don't think, it's still part of the first rain. If it lasted 7 days into the second Revi'ah period, it spilled over into the Revi'ah Shniya, it is now counted as Revi'ah Shniya. And the Neder, which was meant to terminate at the point of Geshem, once the Revi'ah Shniya snows up, has not been fulfilled. Okay? So that's a chiddush. But bottom line is, we're assuming that a person said Ad HaGeshem, which is, the typical way of expression, until the rain, and still we see clearly that according to Tanakam, you have to see rain, because otherwise there wouldn't be any discussion of 7 days raining, all that. If it's just based on the date, it's date related, then once the date arrives, the nether is over. Apparently it is rain related. And you just told me that if he says Ad HaGeshem, all agree, you don't need rain. You need Zman, that's all. Answers the Gemara, no. Hahudam Ad HaGeshamim. Let's assume that he really said Ad HaGeshamim here as well, which is not your typical expression, which is a ribuy, it's an elaboration, which means actual rain. So bottom line is, according to Rabbi Zera, when a fellow says a neder Ad HaGeshem, period, until the Zman of Geshem. Which Geshem? The Zman of Revi'ah Shniya. All agree to that. If he says like HaGeshamim, Rabban and Shimon Gamliel says until the Zman Geshamim, whereas Tanakama says, well, you went a bit further than your typical. If you said HaGeshamim, you mean the actual rains. So as soon as it arrives, nether's over. All agree you don't have to actually experience the whole rain season, as we explained before. Says the Mishnah, Koinum Yain, She'eni Toyim, and some Hagoyres Hashana. No wine for me this year. If it's Abra Hashana, turns out to be an extended year, a leap year, 13 months. Asr Ba'u B'ibura. He must abstain from wine throughout the entire year, including its leap month. What if he says Ad Rosh Adar, until the beginning of Adar? And of course it's a leap year with 2 Adars. Which one is it? Adar Rishon or Adar Sheni? Ad Rosh Adar HaRishon, it means until the beginning of the first Adar. What if he says Ad Soif Adar, until the end of Adar, and it turns out to be a leap year? The end of which Adar? Ad Soif Adar HaRishon, likewise the end of Adar Rishon. Alma, says the Gemara, apparently Stomad Adar, an undefined Adar, just Stam Adar, the Ka'amar. When a person just says, Adar, without elaborating, and there is a choice of 2, Rishon Hu. It is a reference to the first Adar. Leima Mas Nisan. Rabbi Yehudi, apparently our Mishnah is in line with only Rabbi Yehuda, who likewise labels the first Adar as the Stam Adar, as the main Adar, and considers Adar Sheni as the supplemental Adar. The Sanya Adar Rishon. A person sitting down to write a document, and he wants it, to be dated based on the first Adar of a leap year. He has to define, he has to specify. Koisiv Adar HaRishon, he has to actually write it out. You can't just assume, he has to write Adar Rishon. But Adar Sheni, suppose he's referring to the second Adar. You don't have to elaborate, you don't have to explain. Koisiv Adar Stam. Just write Adar plain. Divrei Rav Meir, because according to Rav Meir, which one is the primary Adar? The one that you read the Megillah in, you keep the Purim in. That's Adar Sheni. In fact, as Taisus points out, when you have a leap year, the first Adar is a 29-day month, which isn't typical for Adar. Apparently that's a supplemental. That's the add-on. The main Adar is Adar Sheni, according to Rav Meir. That's not like our Mishnah. Rabbi Yehuda Omer, Adar HaRishon Koisiv Stam, just the opposite. Plain, generic Adar is Adar Rishon. So if you want Ishtar to be applied to Adar Rishon, just write Adar. You don't have to elaborate further. Like our Mishnah, Adar means Adar Rishon. That's the main Adar. The second one is the add-on. Adar Sheni, Kaisif Tinyan. If you want the shtar to be applied to the second Adar, explain, elaborate, specify Adar Sheni. So perhaps our Mishnah, which tells us that when it comes to Nedarim, when a fellow says no wine until Adar, it means the first Adar. Apparently that's Rabbi Yehuda, not Rabbi Meir, who considers Adar Beis as the main Adar. Amar Abaye, no, I feel the time of Rabbi Meir. Our Mishnah can be fully compatible even with Rabbi Meir. What Rabbi Meir tells us in the Bryce, the main Adar is Adar Sheni. That's when he knew that he's faced with two Adars. So he's sitting down to write a shtar, and he knows this is going to be a leap year. In this case, certainly, Stam Adar is the main primary standard Adar, which is Adar Sheni. But now he didn't know. Hadala Yada. He had no clue. It's Chanukah time. And he says, no wine until Adar. He had no idea it's going to be a leap year. So in his mind, he didn't mean to include an extra month. So of course, in this case, you can't push him past Adar Rishon. But Tanya, as we find in the Brisa as well, Adresh Chodesh Adar, a person makes a neder until Rosh Chodesh Adar, Adresh Chodesh Adar Rishon. It goes until the first Adar, and no further. If it turns out that it's a leap year, Adresh Chodesh Adar Sheni, then it extends until the second Adar. 1 second. So the Brisa says, well, if it was a leap year, it changes the rules of the game. But in the first case, where it wasn't a leap year, it goes until the first Adar. Well, obviously, if there's no leap year, then you only have one Adar. What do you mean to say? Apparently we're speaking, of course, that it was a leap year in both cases. The difference between case 1 and case 2 is, Shema Mina, Hada Pshita Ledim Abrashana, Shato. In case B, it means to say that he knew, he was aware of the fact that it's going to be a leap year. And this is Rameir speaking, so when he knew that it's going to be a leap year and he says Adar, he meant Adar Sheni, which is the main Adar. Hadalayada. In case 1, of course it was a leap year, but he didn't know yet. It was a recent development. So when he made the neder, well in advance of the Adar month, not knowing it's going to be a double Adar, and he says Adar Shchedesh Adar, of course in that case, it stops at the first Adar. It's exactly as we explained our Mishnah. So the bottom line is, according to Rabbi Yehuda, when you have a leap year with 2 Adars, what's considered the main one? The first one. Whether he knew about it, whether he didn't know about it, the first one is the main Adar, because that's your standard Adar. The second one is the add-on, which needs to be labeled Adar Sheni, but Stam Adar is Adar Rishon. According to Rameir, if he's expecting a double Adar, and he says Adar, that's Adar Sheni, that's the main one. If it comes to him as a surprise, like by a neder, of course he didn't mean to go past Adar Rishon. Here comes a gewaltige chiddush. Rabbi Yehuda Eimer, says the Mishnah, no wine for me until Pesach is here. Now typically, Achi Yehe means until we experience the Yom Tov, until the Yom Tov is done. By wine, it's different. Dalet Kaises. He didn't mean to negate that, of course not. Certainly. He meant only until, and not including the Leil HaSeder, where people drink wine. Why would he want to forgo that mitzvah? Of course, that wasn't included in his neder. Now, of course, if he specifically specifies no wine for me throughout Pesach, you can't ignore his commitment. But here he used a arbitrary lashon. He said Achiyeh Pesach, which typically is interpreted as meaning including the Yom Tov. But here we interpret it otherwise. Here comes another example. Amar koinem basar she'eni toyim achiyeh atzayim. No meat for me until the grand fast day, until Yom Kippur. Can he have meat in honor of Yom Kippur? They would sit down on Erev Yom Tov and celebrate. It was the Yom Tov. Look, Yom Machila Slicha is coming up. They would treat it as a Yom Tov. Says the Mishnah, you're right. He can have meat on that day. Einu asr ela ad leilei tzayim. He's only asr on meat until Erev Yom Kippur. That's how the Ran learns, and the Mefarsh says even the night before, leilei tzayim. He certainly didn't mean to go past Erev Yom Kippur, which is a day that people celebrate with meat. Why would you want to forego that celebration? Another example, Rabbi Yossi, who was the son of Rabbi Yehuda, added another twist. Even something which doesn't involve, mitzvah min Torah, a straight out mitzvah min Rabbanan, something which is a takana, a minhag. Even that carries this element. Rabbi Yossi b'noi Omer, Rabbi Yossi, the son of Rabbi Yehuda, added another example. Koinim shum shani toyim, ashtei Shabbos. No garlic for me until Shabbos. It only lasts until and not including the Shabbos. Eine asr ela ad leil Shabbos. Why? Shalei neskaven zeh. Ela ad shosha derech b'nei adam lechol b'shum. He only meant until, the time when people eat shum. It was the takanas Ezra to have garlic on the night of Shabbos to enhance the oina. So, that was left out of his commitment. And his mutter b'shum the night of Shabbos. Reuven turns to Shimon. He says, look, I don't want to just always take from you. I want it to be a reciprocatory relationship, a two-way friendship. I'm making usr by way of koinam. Any ano from you, if you're not willing to take from me, if you don't come along, take for your kid, a huge amount of wheat, 2 barrels of wine. Unless you do that, I'm not going to take anything from you. Does he have to stick to that commitment? No. There's an easy way out, even without getting a chacham involved. By Shimon, the intended recipient, telling Reuven, the benefactor, look, he wanted to honor me. This is my honor. Turning down a gift sometimes is more honorable than accepting the gift. Why did you offer me this? To honor me. This is my honor. To turn down your gift. So we're done. We're even. It's as though he fulfilled his condition. Likewise, in a reverse case, Reuben tells Shimon, you can never have enough from me. I'm not just a giver. I'm not just a provider. Let's make it a two-way relationship. You can never have anything from me unless you provide my son with this type of provision. Is he stuck to it or not? There's no way out until he actually gives it. And the Ran points out that Rameir disagrees with the first kula as well. You have to actually carry out your condition. No, even in this case, there's an easy way out, even without getting a chacham involved. Because Reuven, who told this to Shimon, he told Shimon, look, you can't take from me unless you provide my son, unless I get from you. He can say, look, I'm okay today. I don't need your stuff. Let's treat it as though I got it from you. The whole point was to provide. I'm okay. Says the Mishnah, they were pressuring, this fellow Reuven to marry a daughter of his sister's niece, which is actually a mitzvah. The Gemara Yevamah speaks about the fact that there's a close resemblance in personality between these people. So it leads to a successful shidduch. In those days, they married relatives. So that was the proposal, and they were pushing him to do it. And he was not interested. I'm making a neder. She can't have any enough for me forever. Nothing from me. Another example, a person is divorcing, but he says, my wife can't have any enough for me forever. Do we have to hold him to his word? Not necessarily. We don't take it literally. These women can have enough from him. He didn't mean that. You know what he had in mind? I don't want to marry them. But otherwise, he's not actually making any asr on them. Another example is a host was pressuring his guest to accept an invitation. Omar, and the guest was deferring, and he says, look, Omar, leave me alone. I'm not even standing foot in your house. I'm not even going to take a drink of water. Do we have to take it literally? Was it just an exaggeration? Did we get a point? Yes. Mutter l'kanos l'beisa v'lishtis menu tzoyin. He's allowed to step foot in the guy's house, have a drink. He didn't mean that. He meant a meal. I don't want to trouble you. Don't sit me down for a meal. He meant, don't sit me down for a meal. But otherwise, taking a walk through his house, taking a drink of cold water, that's not what he had in mind. That would be mutter. Okay, so what did we learn? The first Mishnah we had a fellow making a neder ad the rain season. So when he says ad ha-geshem, all agree it's the Zman Geshem. Which Geshem? The Revi'ah Shniya, the mid rain portion there. So the Zman of Revi'ah Shniya is the end of the neder. When he says Ad Geshamim, Tanakama is Machadash, it means the actual arrival of that rain. Once again, the Revi'ah Shniya. What about no wine throughout the year? It includes the Shana Muberes as well. No wine until Adar. So, if he knew there was going to be 2 Adars, according to Rameir, it means until the second Adar. That's the Stam Adar. According to Rabbi Yehuda, it means the first Adar. That's the primary Adar. All agree, if he had no clue that there was another Adar in the works, his neder terminates the beginning of Adar Harisha. The Chiddush from Rabbi Yehuda and his son Rabbi Yossi, that when you make a neder, for instance, no wine until Pesach, even if you said Ashiyah Pesach, which typically includes that target date, it's up until not including Leila Seder. When it comes to meat, it's not including Erev Yom Kippur. When it comes to garlic, not including Leil Shabbos. We had 2 examples of a gift proposal which can be turned down without any repercussion. We had a fellow making a neder against the marriage. It's not really Hana related, it's marriage related. And this fellow doesn't want to trouble his host for a full meal, but of course, there's a lot to come in. Lebeisa v'lishtes menu tzoyin. Hadran alach koinem yayin. Much hatzlacha to you and b'suras tevis.